of that unwanted event, of that emergency? Or better put, how do we even reduce the likelihood of occurrence of that emergency? In this class, you will learn an additional information around how to even predict the speed of onset. We call it speed of onset, how fast the emergency could happen. So I'm just again fasten your seat belts. Let's join in together in class. My name is Kolako. You've been in class for about 2 sessions now. I think we've helped mind together around health and safety management, as well as fire safety management and equipment maintenance. Okay, so if you go to the next slide, Baraka. So I think we should kind of close early today. We've always closed late in class, right? So let's see if we can save some 5, 10, 15 minutes today. Okay, so you may ask, or if I may ask, what is an emergency? From the health and safety sessions, our course, that's health and safety and the fire safety sessions that we've had, we've seen that for us to be in a place of what we call safety, and that means that at the moment and at every moment, the planned activities should keep going. Outside that, then it becomes, an unwanted event. And what an unwanted event then becomes an emergency if there is a disruption. All right. And so we need to be prepared for such disruption. So an emergency is similar to what we call an accident. All right. So if, as we're speaking now, if there is a mayday call, whether a aircraft is about to crash land and the pilot has declared mayday, so the pilot's actually leaving the control tower to say mayday, mayday. What's going to happen is that all other flights will be placed, or all other landing or takeoff will be placed on hold, and attention will be given to the pilot or the aircraft that has declared mayday. What it means that when there is an emergency, then we need to actually give attention to such emergency and ensure that things are actually put under check. And the good
breaking.
Yes, we're trying to sort out that. Apologies for any inconvenience.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I'm actually shocked. I was told that I'm muted, and I've said a lot of things. So what was last thing you heard? Sorry.
You have to go back, sir. Sorry, sir.
To where?
we had up to when airplane declare mayday.
Okay, you help to the mayday?
Yes.
Yes, to the mayday.
Okay.
To the mayday.
No,
okay, so I was trying to just okay, no, maybe I have to get a better all right. So what for us to ensure that there is business continuity, for us to ensure that there is no disruption to our operation, we need to identify what emergency could occur in the workplace, what might occur in the workplace, and how we can, curb such emergency, or should I use the word disruption to operation. when the aircraft is in distress and is actually approaching, so when I say aircraft, I mean an aeroplane. Because if it's an helicopter, then we can decide to land anywhere. But if it's an aeroplane, it has to actually land in the airfield, which is the airport, right? And if there is an emergency, the pilot is actually going to call out for Mayday. So he's going to call the control tower and declare Mayday. So when a pilot declares Mayday, what it means is that the aircraft is actually struggling, that a crash is about to happen, that emergency response teams are needed. So that's the fire and the fire and medical teams, and of course that the aircraft needs to be flagged for sudden landing. So from the control tower, the ATF, the aircraft traffic controller, the ATC rather, the aircraft traffic controller will tell all aircraft to hold on, will ensure that all operations are actually on hold for the one in distress to actually land. This is actually similar to what we do in our operations. When there is an emergency, an emergency needs full and coordinated attention. It needs all the resources as much as possible to mitigate the impact of the crash. So imagine the aircraft is about to crash land and they are all okay. So the pilot is approaching the airport, and maybe the landing gear or the tire has refused to come out. So it refused to eject. That means that the plane is actually going to land on its belly. If the plane lands on high speed on its belly, then there will be that scratch. There'll be the so it's actually going to have an impact, of course, on the aircraft itself, on the airframe, and of course, there will be some sparks generated. Now, if sparks are generated, there is likelihood of fuel leakage from the tank, and if this happens, that means there is a danger of fire. So the plane actually engulfed or be engulfed in fire. Declaring a Mayday means that it's going to ask for fire safety guys to come and pour a layer of chemical foam. The last time we're discussing about fire extinguisher, was it 2 days ago? You saw the class B when we said, okay, is the foam extinguisher is cream in color in terms of color coding and everything. So there's what we call AFFF, the aqueous film forming foam. Film forming, aqueous film forming foam, AFFF, that is used at the airport where they are, maybe the 6x6 striker, fire truck is going to actually pump foam on the runway. So when this aircraft lands, it actually lands on its belly, but it's landing inside. When I say foam now, just imagine soapy solution. So your Omo in water, that kind of foam. Yeah. So when that happens, it's going to actually ensure that there is the cooling of the ignition temperature, which is the spark that is going to be generated. And of course, there is the smoothing of the oxygen, which is the foam that don't allow even oxygen to even penetrate. So then, of course, fire trucks are still on ground to pour water on the aircraft, and the ambulance on ground to evacuate the injured. That's a coordinated emergency response that ensures that everything that needs to happen has happened. All right. So same thing is applicable for our operations. When there is an emergency, or when there is likelihood of an emergency, we should have plans in place. These plans should be strategic. Yes, we are facility managers, we are operating at the strategy and operational level, meaning that we are the one even deciding what the things that should be on ground. All right. And the things that should happen on the day of emergency. Baraka, please, can you just share that screen again? So let's go into definitions examples, and of course, deep dive into the class. Any question at this point, please? Hello, class. Any question at this point? Or should we continue?
Yeah, let's continue. Let's continue.
Creating the operational framework that documents, gates, vulnerabilities. Those are the exposures to a workplace hazard, even up to catastrophic disaster. What is that thing that can lead to a complete destruction of your system? The emergency preparedness plan or program is going to help identify this, monitor it, track it, then put measures in place to ensure that whatever has been identified can also be mitigated, be kept in the cage, be placed under control. All right. So as FMs, we need to develop a plan, and that's why we are here today. We need to develop a plan to address the maintenance of these essential functions of the organizational programs, which will then even help us to address issues such as having an alternative location. So you work out of Lekki suddenly for whatever reason, and that's how they're going to stop work because of flood. Is there a way we can thank God for COVID-19 to actually is it actually possible to work from home, remote working without complete disruption to what we do or how we do what we do. Really relevant to the call. Can you please identify? I'm sorry for calling you out. Can you please identify maybe 3 or 4 potential hazards in your own relevant to your workplace right now, please? Thank you.
Number 1, the river flood, drought, industrial explosion, major industrial explosion, then water pollution.
You can unmute. Industrial explosion. Okay. Please wait. You work. Please, where do you work? Segun?
I work as a facility manager with Domino Group.
Okay. So I think I understand what you're talking about. So gas explosion, industrial gas explosion. Okay. Who again want to go for host? Can a lady volunteer?
Good evening. My name is Kingsley. Hello.
Okay, Kingsley, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. My own, what is relevant for me here? I see electrical blackout, water shortage, water pollution, because I work in a commercial building where you have more people. So these are things that are more of relevance to us. Pipe explosion are not close to where they have pipes. So these are the things that are relevant for me here. Electrical blackout, drought, water pollution, and water shortage.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Kingsley, and thanks, Segun. So 2 things that are actually relevant for me, or is actually applicable to everyone, which will be around the electrical blackout and maybe the water pollution. So can you share with me what we have done differently, or for the electrical? So if there's an electrical blackout now at Domino Pizza or at Kingsley's place now, what are we going to do? Can somebody just say what you are doing presently? Then we run into the practicality. So, do you want to go for us or Kingsley? Or another volunteer, please. Electrical blackout and water problem. So I didn't hear you, please. Is anybody volunteering? What are you doing differently as regards blackout situation as an emergency, and maybe either the water is polluted, the water is unavailable? Anyone, please?
Okay, let me talk on electrical blackouts. Kingsley. Can I go on, please? Hello?
Please go on. Please go on.
Okay,
For
electrical blackout, for electrical blackouts, emergency preparedness for this should be, you should have emergency lighting installed in most of the work areas and exit points, and that's because of to prevent people trampling or falling down from the stairs and all that. This is one of the emergency preparedness you should have. And for emergency blackouts for fire system, you should have a backup pump, just like a diesel backup pump, because in your last class you said when there is fire, most time electrical systems are turned off, the generators are turned off. So you should have a backup electric petrol pump, diesel pump, or any mobile pump that can work on its own independently, that can start to help you fight fire. So this is another emergency preparedness when you have blackouts like that. Thank you.
Spot on. Yes, so there could be electrical problems within the workplace, whether the blackout, whether the generator packed off, or there is no supply from the grid or something. What we're then saying is that we should have a plan to ensure that the business can continue, as much as we can. Otherwise, there are actually going to be problem. When I say problem, I mean problem because if let's say we're a manufacturing company and we can't produce because there's a blackout or something, that means it's going to really affect the profitability of the company and of course question the competence of the guys that are doing this. All right. For the water also, so there's what we call business continuity plan. So this list is not exhaustive. I mean, this list is not 100% comprehensive. It's just going to make or get ideas around what we need to do. Yeah, all we need to do. All right. So it's important that as much as we can, we have documented business continuity plan. And when it's documented, I mean it's written down and it's not done by one person. One person point down and document or come up with document. The engineering team, the health and safety guys, even your HR and everybody come together to make this happen. Okay. Next slide, please. Next slide. So are we? So like I said, this potential of this list is just the list for accidents that can actually happen in your workplace. It doesn't mean that there are no other things. Please you need to look for every other one and capture it. All right. So state of being prepared, state of being ready, state so I say compact ready, state of being able to go immediately is what we mean by preparedness. And continuity like I said, is the ability for you to recover. So you should have people, two people together so that they can as well, you know, give their ideas and take ownership. So it's not just about the ideas. We can always generate ideas, guys, even on this call. But the honest truth is that we need to have something that we can do immediately. We need something that we can do immediately to ensure that there is quick attention given to the emergency. So having these guys together gives what we call the ownership. So you get the buy-in, not just senior management buy-in now, but even operational level buy-in. So people, because they see it as, okay, we did it together. We must not fail. It is our own. So it's that buy-in that we actually need, that will actually require from you. All right. So please, we need you to carry everyone along as much as we can. Finance, because money needs to be spent. All right. So let your finance manager be part of the team that came up with the idea. So, for instance, for fire emergency, let's say the percentage plan to say if you're fire, Kinsley was saying the other time, I was talking around having the double level operational source. So you have the electrical fire pump, then you have the diesel-driven fire pump. Fantastic. All right. So if we knock off power, the diesel can actually come up automatically. But let me shock you. If there is an emergency, we also have a plan to invite fire service or to get fire truck elsewhere. It's not cheap. I think fire truck cost about with the manning in Lagos cost about 450,000 per day, 450 per day. Clear. So if you don't have such plan already approved to say if there's a problem, let us call fire service. And when you call the fire service, your finance guidance that you have invited 40,000 debits. All right. So this is something that we should. That's why we need to involve them. Let them be involved. Next slide, please. Okay. So I think this is self-explanatory. Your role as a facility manager. All right. You need to be able to participate and sometimes lead the emergency response plan or program. You need to develop the risk management plan. I've said this many times, risk management or risk assessment is just around likelihood and and severity or the impact. But I said on the start of this class that we're going to be dropping another theory, which is around the speed of onset. So the good news is that we don't just come here to speak theories or to speak theories. We've been there before and we're still there. So I'm an industrial guy, hands-on, right? So it's not just about, I've spoken at this event or that event, not just about speaking at events or consulting with PwC like I told you last time. I've also done this as HS manager for Coca-Cola, right? Back to back, we passed our audits, all right? I just came out of the water stewardship audit with the South African guys about sometime last Thursday. That's just a week now. So we actually know what we're talking about. This is hands-on, all right? So for some companies, security may actually fall under your purview. For some other companies, security is not within your purview. So we need to ensure that things that fall under our purview, as defined on this screen.
Excuse me, sir. Hello. Hello.
Are captured.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I'm so sorry to. Hello, sir. Please, I'm so sorry to cut in.
I'm here.
So sorry.
Let's go.
I can't hear you at all. Your voice, your sound is not defined, and most times there's almost a break of maybe 50 some seconds break, and then we miss that explanation. I don't know whether you're using an earpiece or something. If you can, please
I'm actually
I can't hear you. Your sound is not defined.
Let me try and undo the Bluetooth and see what is going to So is it better now?
Yes.
It's much better now, yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my settings to go on device. I'm actually on speaker. Sorry. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you clear now.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so
But hello, sir. There is an underground noise coming in.
Some background noise coming in.
How bad is it? How bad is the background noise?
Very bad. Very, very.
Terrible, sir. Very terrible.
Okay, so let me log out and log in back. Sorry. Just hold on. Let me log out. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
So the background noise is still existing, right?
Yes, yes.
Noisy. But we
I'm
can
actually on
manage.
the-
Let's go on.
Oh, let me just go on my earpiece again. Let me see. I'm actually on the road. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. So on this point, we've spoken around the rules of a competent facility manager, and the last thing I want to lay emphasis on is metrics. Metrics speaks to measurements and monitoring. There must be a way we are set out to monitor what we are doing or the effectiveness of what we are doing. So, for instance, if we set up an emergency operations center or an emergency response team, there should be some activities that keep them together, e.g., maybe a drill meeting, maybe training, maybe drill exercise or what have you. These have to be planned. I mean, at the beginning of the year, at the start of the year, we need to say, okay, we want to have monthly meeting of the emergency response team members. We want to conduct 2 emergency drills or exercises within the course of the year. We want to visit the fire service team. We want to, what again? Maybe organize training for our people. So these things have to be documented, written down, and follow through. So by follow through, I mean we need to have a tracker to say, oh, this is what we planned, this is what we've done, and this is what we plan to do, or this is what is left undone. So with this, basically, we have a good idea of where we are in terms of emergency response planning and execution. So please, the metrics, unit of measurement or method of measurement should be clearly defined and spelled out. Next, please. Next slide. This slide speaks to, okay, yeah, this slide. So this slide speaks to the maturity level of FM in the workplace. Maturity level in terms of the experience you have with emergency planning and business continuity. That's EP/BC. And so, yeah, if your organization is unaware, of course, there'll be no planning or budget for emergency program or preparedness, as well as business continuity. So what the FM can do, if you work in such an organization where there is no budget or no plan for emergency preparedness and business continuity. All you can do is to ensure that you comply with all local regulations, nothing more, because your organization is at level 0 in terms of emergency planning and business continuity. If there are some level of awareness, so there's little planning integration into the overall strategy for the year or for the business agenda for the year. As a facility manager, you should be able to identify and manage the risks and through prevention and of course mitigation. If there is growing awareness, you guys are on level 2. There's a growing awareness where you're able to identify some essential processes. You have some plans in place as regards emergency planning and emergency preparedness and business continuity. As an FM, you need to lead the organization in order to identify the critical or the essential party management processes. And you need to have a contingency plan, a backup plan for emergencies. And lastly, if you are full-blown level 3, such that you've been able to integrate the emergency preparedness and business continuity into your agenda, then you as the FM must participate in risk management, emergency response planning, testing and training, and of course, you must support. I said I hope you'll be able to go through this page. So next slide. Or were you waiting for me to explain something? Okay, so priorities. So we call this peer, all right? In the health and safety class, we call it peers, P-E-A-R-S, health and safety. But here we call it peer, but you can actually go with whichever one. All right, I go with peers, you ask me. So the people, the environment, the asset, the reputation of the company, and of course the security of the company matters when it comes to emergency response planning, preparedness, and of course business continuity planning. So what are we talking about? We need to safeguard people physically and socially and mentally, right? We need to stabilize the business processes so that we can ensure that the assets are even safe. We need to use, excuse me. We need to secure the organization, reputation, the image of the organization. We need to also ensure that the business can recover, by ensuring that the violations, especially environmental violations, are at the lowest, at the minimum or the least minimum, if there's anything like that. And of course, the security of life and properties, kidnapping issue, and all those things, can theft. Hear me? Hello?
Your line went off for a while and we were not hearing anything.
Okay, so please, I'm not actually reading from a textbook. That's the truth. So I get frustrated when I hear people saying they can't hear me. All right. So please, Baraka or Max-Migold team, I'm not in class basically. If there's any points you lost me, please, we need to speak up immediately. I don't appreciate speaking for 5 minutes and people don't hear me. I get turned off. All right. I'm sorry for saying this. So please, if there's at any point you don't hear me, we need to call it out there and then. So now I've explained this slide. I've even added security and some other things. So if you tell me you don't hear me, I don't know. That means you want me to actually do a repeat. It's actually frustrating. So I appeal to class.
Yeah, I think
and there's a point you don't hear me. We need to just speak up. I don't work with MTN. I'm sorry. So I just need to just make do with whatever I have. So, but if I understand it's technology, if you don't hear me, or you just call it out immediately. I pause, then I may have to reconnect or do something. Please. Baraka, please kindly take note of this. It's not the job of the class to moderate. It is your job to tell me if I'm lost, and then I need to just come in or step in or step out, as the case may be. Okay, so please, class, at what point did you lose me? So I can just go back to that. Is it this slide? Is this slide fine? If it's the previous slide.
I heard you when you were explaining this slide. It was immediately after this slide when you talk about the reputation of the organization. That was where you went off. So just for some seconds.
Okay. Okay, so after the reputation, I then spoke around security. I spoke around security planning because of the kidnapping cases. So we need to have what we call the journey management plan. Facilities managers, please, we can't just wake up on a Monday morning as we are traveling, or wake up on a Friday as we are traveling. I mean, organizational trip, it has to be pre-planned. So where are people going? I mean, official duty. What is the road security report like? So you can use the control rigs, is free advisory online. You can subscribe to Allogene. I'm not promoting this guy, I don't know them. All right. You can subscribe to wherever you want to subscribe to. All right. And so you can get real-time information around what we need.
Hello,
what we need to
I'm
do.
expecting you now. I didn't see you sending in.
Am I back now?
Yes, you're
Yes,
back.
you are.
Yes, you're back.
I think the internet is quite poor. Okay. So I was just saying that same way we said it under health and safety, that the people, environment, assets, and reputation is important. I've also included I've also included security as part of what is necessary, for this. So we need to support even the security thinking or thought process for us to make things happen. Next slide, please. Okay, so here we look at the risk management process itself, and it's similar to what we did under health and safety, saying that the risks should be identified and evaluated, which is the assessment, and then of course the critical processes and assets should also be identified. Then we need to develop a strategy or mitigation plan to curb all the hazards or issues that have been identified. So we need to have alternative location or option. We need to have a backup plan for everything we want to do, and we need to then also monitor and evaluate the plans or the corrective measures we have in place, and revise them or review them and update such as need be. But very importantly, we need to communicate internally and externally around the activities or the plans that we have. Internal stakeholders include our employees, our suppliers, especially the ones that are actually residents. All right, for instance, I mean, they work with us. So some of us, I know we've outsourced some like the cleaning service. Then that cleaning company they are external to us, but they are also very critical to us because they work with us on a day-to-day basis. All right, so we need to maintain that internal and external communication with the stakeholders, with the directors, with the management, of course, and externally with the regulators, with the government, with even the public, the general public. We need to ensure that our plans are communicated as much as possible. Next slide, please. And okay, so is there any question actually happen, and how possible these events could happen, which is the likelihood, and of course how fast the event could happen and the severity of such event. I'll give you a minute again to just go through this before I explain, so I can explain, to understand. Let me just give 30 seconds for you to reach you. Okay, so I guess we familiarize ourselves with this. So there is this company. The company is actually into accountancy. So there is actually an accounting firm, an audit firm, and they've listed or identified the events or the risks that can happen to them. All right, and here they said, okay, there could be water supply interruption, which could be more than 4 hours, which could spill more than 4 hours. There could be chemical spill, even though they don't actually handle chemicals, all right? But of course, there's apps some stored in their store. Power outage, loss of data base, theft, then sudden loss of personnel. So if you look at the tables, you could see, okay, so for water supply interruption exceeding 4 hours, for them, because of their stable water supply, they say that this event is unlikely. However, if it happens, it's going to be sudden. So that means they're getting water from maybe municipal, maybe from water corporation. But if it is their own borehole or something, they should be able to predict how bad this supply could be. And again, for them to say it is sudden, exceeding 4 hours, it also means that maybe they don't have adequate storage facility for the water. All right. So then the existing mitigation is weak or none. That means they only depend on their municipal water supply. And I said, so the supply could be they don't have storage, they don't have borehole, no alternative. So it could be sudden. And lastly, the impact is actually considerable. All right. So we multiply all these things, then it becomes, an 18. Okay. But if you look at sudden loss of key personnel, it is different. That means maybe the tax expert or the account expert just died suddenly. Then that's actually a major problem for them. All right. And the honest truth is, they then need to, if they have to base their stuff, they need to yes. So if they have to base their stuff, they need to ensure that the higher numbers are given close attention, are prioritized. Meaning that if they have some money to spend, they should go and train their staff, as against burdening themselves about water. Not that water outage is good, but if somebody dies, it means that the business may not be able to continue. So using this matrix, where you look at the likelihood or probability of occurrence, the existing plan that you have, mitigation, that means, backup plan that you have, the speed that could happen. So if someone wants to die now, it may not, the person may not even fall sick. It may not even give you that chance to get a backup. All right. And that could disrupt the whole operation. And of course, the impact. So if you can look at that and you multiply this across, then you'll be able to determine which of your hazard. Remember the hazard we saw on page 3 when we started this class? Yeah, so that hazard, you need to list them out and do this multiplication for each one. The higher the number, the more priority you give to that issue, and that will then help you solve not all your problems, but ensure that business continuity is ensured. Next slide, please. Or before you go to the next slide, let me just explain what is beside this graph. Just 1 second. 1 second. So this is the impact probability map, very similar to the interest and impact map for stakeholder management that I discussed about 3 days ago. All right, so here you are looking at those events and you are ranking them on a scale of 1 to 5. So you consider that y-axis where you have the impact as starting from 0 to 5. Forget that percentage. So look at that starting from 0 to 5. 0 being the base of the graph. All right. So it goes on the y-axis, that means it goes vertically. So the impact is vertical. The probability or likelihood is horizontal. So then do a 5 by 5 matrix. Same thing we're doing about some days ago, where we look at, okay, what's the likelihood? Is it 3? What's severity? Is it 2? So the 2 times 3 will be 6. But in this case, don't just do multiplication, just try and trace that 3 on the y-axis, 2 on the x-axis, and see where you fall into. Then that tells you what priority you should give. Those things that are actually falling into you see, is classified as low risk, medium risk, and high risk. That's LMH. So the ones that are actually high risk and a bit of medium, you need to trace and give priority. Not saying that you should look 5 risk strategies that we deploy or we employ. All right. We have the tolerance. Tolerance means that you already accept the risks and try to just manage it the way you can. Avoidance means that you don't want that risk, so you will eliminate the risk by not carrying out that job or not ensure that task will not continue. Prevention means that yes, even though you have accepted the risks, just same way as tolerance, but there are existing measures underline the word existing measures to ensure that the risk is under control. Mitigation means that you are actually bringing in additional control measures. That means you are open to bringing in new ideas that help you solve the problem. And of course, transfer means that you want to employ or you want to subcontract that job. You want to employ a specialist company that will carry out the job, or better still, you want to insure that activity. So in case like some of us do fire insurance, so in case fire happen, at least we'll get something back from the insurance company. Next slide, please. So please, can we go on maybe 5 minutes break? I'm sorry we have gone on that break at 6 o'clock. I just realized now that we didn't break. So can we please go on this 5 minutes break? Economics break, drink water, stretch your legs, please.
All right.
Okay, so let's continue. So the component of an emergency response plan, let me first confirm. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
We
can hear you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mark. Okay, so an emergency plan should contain the legal requirements or the statute or what called the authority for implementation, because you can't speak to your management without telling them what legal requirements you are trying to comply or what that business policy you're trying to enhance or drive. So the objective, the scope of the plan, situations and assumptions, just like what we listed the other time. It could be water scarcity, it could be electrical blackout, it could be flooding, it could be armed robbery, it could be kidnapping, it could be building collapse, depending on what you do, right? It could even be sudden fatality, it could be anything, it could just be anything. All right. So we need to list this out and the assumptions. Then the emergency levels. This is not cast in stone. If your organization has a rating for emergency level, then you can actually input that. But basically, there are actually two ways we classify emergency level. It's either we are classifying based on the program that we have as a company, meaning that we are saying that this emergency can actually be site level, that means facility based, or as we connect from the group. Or again, we can use what we call, emergency rating or emergency level 1, 2, or 3, which is again dependent on whether the risk is low, medium, or high. I said we can classify the emergency levels based on if the emergency will be managed at our base, at our facility, that means at our own site level, or it has to be cascaded to the group, that means to the head office, or using the low, medium, high, matrix, we can say, okay, based on likelihood of severity, this emergency is actually low, so it's on level 1. This emergency is actually medium, is level 2, or this emergency is actually high, is level 3. So that means it's very critical, it's a red, it can cause a disruption outrightly. All right. Then the command and organization, that means responsibility, escalation matrix. I know we spoke around the role assignments in the fire class. So it was also very important here. Also, that your plan must have the communication strategy. What are the channels that I want to communicate? Word of mouth, town hall meeting, email, face-to-face, key information. I'm actually speaking to the director of maybe fire service or what have you, or press conference or what. So you need to understand the stakeholders. Remember again, I've mentioned even today that the stakeholder can be internal or external. I can have a whole lot of stakeholders depending on the, on where they fall. Remember again, the other class, not the last one, not the fire class now. The health and safety class, when we speak about the stakeholder management or analysis, I spoke around the impact and interest of the stakeholder, contributing to how you even handle them, whether they have to be informed, involved, what again, partnered with, what again, consulted, or you have to reciprocate. Those 5 strategies. So the channel you use to speak to them, also very important. That's clearly defined. Use and training has to be planned. Your maintenance has to be planned, recovery and restoration, the version control, and things. So on the appendix, adjoining documents, we should put the contact list of the people, the policies that is impacted, the emergency situation or scenarios, and of course, the supply list and things like that. And we need to carry out the audit of the strategy. Next slide, please. Okay, so same thing applies for business continuity. And we're seeing that also for this, again, for the business continuity components, we're also looking at, these things identified here, that these things should actually be in the document. All right, it should be in the document. Next slide, please. Yeah, so in the implementation, please, you need to ensure that you distribute the plan. That plan is not good in the locker. So of course, as all functions or people that you've assigned responsibility to must also be informed, and you need to share documents with them if possible. Some people don't see this as, oh, they are doing us a favor. We may need to put this in their job. I want to say something, please. Can I continue?
Yes, you can. You can.
Thank you, sir. All right. So we need to forget this digitalizing that we've been preaching. When there are accidents or incidents, people forget digital and they actually go manual. So that's why we need to have hard copy of this business continuity plan, of the contact people and things like that, typed out and made available. We may even have what we call an emergency response board, ERB. We have like a board, like a notice board, where you then have these manuals, emergency response manual available. So when there is accident, you can just go there, pick the manual, and they know phone numbers that they need to call and things like that. Then for some people, we need to have some practical approaches. So with the LASEMA, so we're saying have a list. So this is the practical approach. Meet with these agencies, prepare a vendor list, people that can actually supply you. So there's water shortage, who can actually supply water? There is lockdown. Election is coming in January, or is it February? Some of us are actually essential duty workers. So we still go to work despite election or what have you. So we need to have some things in stock. All right. Then again, so your vendor, then please don't have just one vendor, have multiple vendors. Then of course, I know somebody must be available to address the families of the people that might be involved, maybe such as an accident, on official trip, people got injured, maybe the vehicle was involved in an accident. You need to be able to keep people informed and involved. So investigation, yes, is not for us to blame, but for us to be able to, for us to be able to know what we are doing. Okay. Next slide, please. Drill. Test the system. We need to test that system. We need to test the system. All right. And so we keep on testing the system to ensure that we meet our objectives. People can perform the job even under pressure. Procedures are clear. It depends on the functions are working, so people know what to do and they're doing it. And of course, you check whether even everything you've written down is complete, adequate, and sufficient. Next slide, please. So these are the questions we ask ourselves, and it should be done annually. Have anything changed? Have the risks changed? Has the vulnerability changed? Are our strategies, are they working and proven? The testing we are doing, is it effective? The prevention plans we are taking, are they working? The policies we have in place and the processes, are they still effective and adequate? Ask yourself, are they aligned with the business strategy? Have we even maybe restructured our department organization, which of course immediately also affects, our emergency response plan? All right, next slide. So please, we need to audit and evaluate this and ask questions. Next slide. Next slide, please. If I ask you today, that's what is an emergency preparedness plan? Do you even understand what it is? Do you understand those 5 basic approaches to managing risks? Tolerate, avoid, prevent, what again? Accept and transfer. Can you identify 10 potential hazards in your workplace or at home? Go to that list of hazards and please, you can actually add more. What's the difference between being prepared and continuity. That's emergency preparedness and continuity. One is proactive, one is reactive, right? Preparedness, you are preventing it from happening. Based on it is that it has happened, you are only mitigating, you are preventing it from getting worse. You are trying to get back to business as soon as you can and minimize disruption. You mentioned 6 stakeholders that should be involved in the planning. Look at your workplace, the finance team, the legal team, the HR, the engineering, the HSC, of course, yourselves, even at times the IT department. So as key stakeholders internally that need to be involved. And there could also be external stakeholders such as government, that the fire service and what have you that you need to involve. Benefit of fire of the emergency response or preparedness plan is highlighted here. Your role is clearly stated. Approach to this continuity plan list, and not just one person in your vendor list, meeting with agency and what have you. It's a part of things you need to do. You mentioned 5 tools needed for business continuity. You have the tools right here, on the slide, and of course, the big strategies that you know. I think we've come to the end of the class, and I think I'm open to answer your questions. Wow, am I the only one in this class? Oh, please just go. I may not see the hand because I'm looking at the slide. Okay, please just speak to me, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, no problem. Okay, so I want to narrow down my question to fire risk in an organization. So if the organization decides to transfer the fire risk or fire risk management to an insurance company, so to what extent is the organization responsible? What is left for the organization to do if that is done?
Actually around the risk assessment. So before the guys will ask you, we accept to insure, you agree on the basic things you need to do. E.g., you have to have firefighters or fire marshal, you have to have fire extinguisher, you have to, because insurance people they don't give bonanzas. They're actually going to investigate the fire. And if it is because you guys didn't control your operations, then you are still culpable and they won't pay you enough money. All right. Again, let me say that even engaging insurance company is around business continuity, is a reactive measure. The fire would have happened. All right. So for fire risks, I will advise that we even do prevention, which is around what we speak about yesterday now, and we then ensure. But to what extent are you culpable? You are culpable to ensure that the risks are managed. Hot work, no smoking, and all those kind of policies are managed within the workspace. Thank you.
Okay, still on my question, please. So are there dedicated experts in the field of risk management that an organization could consult, especially in terms of preventing, mitigating, or avoiding the risk in the first place? Because, like you just mentioned now, I mean, some organization might be banking on insurance, but that's reactive. So the incident will have happened before an insurance will come into play, and we shouldn't be expecting the insurance to tell us how to prevent the problem, because the profits they actually profit. They will actually pray that the problem should happen, right? So to avoid it, to prevent it, are there consultancy that to be engaged?
Yes. We actually have consultant on fire safety, and I will just advise that you engage people that actually have practical experience, have worked. So in Nigeria, as we speak, a lot of safety companies claim to have this. As I speak to you, I actually have Bush Fire. I don't think 2014, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, I'm a full member of the Institute of Fire Safety Managers in the UK. All right. So you can speak to Max-Migold. I'm not advertising on this call, but you can see the Max-Migold, and I think we can actually come around and see what it is in the workplace. So again, so anybody you want to engage, please just ensure that you not only ask for their pedigree, but also for previous jobs that they've handled. As we speak, I can tell you for free that about one building in Lagos and some other good buildings in Lagos were actually handled by Max-Migold, and I was part of that team. Even outside Max-Migold, we've done some things, even with Laguna Hospital around fire safety management. Apart from then working full time as health and safety consultant. So please, you can speak to Max-Migold. We can look at the business case and then we can advise you appropriately. And not everything is money, but of course, some bills will have to be paid, right? For speak to Max-Migold, we can actually come around to check, your fire safety status and maybe do a gap assessment, tell you where you are, what you need to do to close the gap, and how we can move to the next step. We can even carry out what we call the loss prevention assessment, engineering loss prevention assessment, where we can actually audit your entire system and give you a report, comprehensive report on where the problems really are and what you need to do. Insurance companies, when they see that you've done some of these things, they even like to work with you. Of course, the insurance premium will actually be reduced because you have good systems in place. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything like, sorry, for just like fire extinguishers, in most of the organizations, is servicing it twice in a year, is it too much for
No. So servicing, I'll be honest with you, is not cast in stone, right? How many times will you service the fire extinguisher in a year? But the Mineral Oil and Gas Safety Regulation, 7, advise that where there is no, for fire safety critical elements, where there is no duration frequency, we should go with twice a year. And that's why most of us go with twice a year. So please, let's maintain 6 months servicing of fire extinguishers, please. Please. Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening, Engineer Kolakpo.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I want to ask this question. Is it possible somebody prepare business continuity program without emergency preparedness? Because sometimes
it's possible.
Okay,
tell me, so what happened from 2 years ago? Let me listen.
Yeah, I had a security department from where I work, asking all the contractors to send in their business continuity program. If not so, they are going to terminate their appointment. So how do we prepare this kind of a business continuity program in case we have our personal company?
Yeah, if you go some few slides back, you will see components of a business continuity. Please, Veronica, can you do that? Hold on. No, you are too fast. Go forward. Go towards the end of the slide. 1, 2. Oh, no, you are too fast, Veronica. You are missing. Next. That's backward. Okay, this is it. Can you see business continuity plan components? So those are the things that you need to speak to. What are the things that will happen for you to activate this plan? That means what are those hazards that we listed the other time? What are the assumptions that will make this hazard to occur? Remember, I just spoke to you around the event threat analysis, PTA, then again, what are those things you need to do, including the resource that is needed for the business continuity. So use this to generate, the items that will be required, for the business continuity plan. Thank you.
Also, Engineer Kalapa, I would like to add that we have a template for the business, emergency preparedness and business. And
Fantastic.
We have templates, yes, in the project docket they'll be working on at the end of this training. So I also share
fantastic, fantastic.
Okay, Engineer
So there's a bonus from the class.
Another question from me. Another question from me. All right. Would you recommend that if some services were to be rendered to an organization, that you request from the service provider, the contractor, if you like, to include in their submission, in their, when you are doing request for proposal, right, or what we might call quotation, will you recommend that an organization request from the service provider to explain, mention the risk associated with the service they want to deliver, how they will mitigate against it?
Definitely, sir. So when for their health and safety policy, ask for their environmental policy, ask for their emergency response plan. Number 3, ask for their general risk assessments for that job, where they will speak to the activities, what can go wrong, how likely, how severe, and what they plan to do to mitigate this. Please, these are the information that we need to always ask our vendors to supply before we even give a job to them. That will even make our life easier. At least whatever they submit will be 50% good, let's say. Then we can only just add to it as against starting from ground zero.
Fantastic. Thank you. If no one is asking, I have another question, please.
Please let me go. I just want to add to what the engineer has said. I think in some work permit, these risks are included in some work permit before it was given. Sometimes
no, so boss is even asking of before you even give the job. So remember during my health and safety talk, we talked about loss prevention plan, LPP. Before we spoke around, so we said there is the planning phase, there is a permitting phase, and there is the job execution phase. So what is even asking is that before you even give the job, so when you are doing your RFP, request for proposal, why don't you even ask for all those things at the beginning, so that you can even use that to even disqualify some people. People that don't have, you understand, you disqualify them. So it's people that you have shortlisted that maybe based on now, based on the cost now, you select them, then give them even the permit to work and ask them to, give you more details. But from the word go, if they don't have, you disqualify them. There's no negotiation. They don't have, they don't qualify.
I get that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Engineer Kolakwa, thank you very much. That's what I use actually for some of my contracting processes. Okay, so the other question I have is this. Where do we draw the line between the risk that are to be managed by the municipal or the government, the local government or whatever, or the fire safety? Because, for example, I am told that the fire service, the federal fire service, not only deal with fire, they also deal with issues like if someone falls into a pit, or someone is trapped in a confined
rescue.
Rescue. So, thank you. So where do you draw the line between what an organization is expected to do and what the government should do? Because if you cross the line, the government will come back to you and say, who authorized you to rescue this guy? Who authorized you to, I don't know whether I have any
So in your business continuity plan, thanks for mentioning this, you then put government agency as part of your plan. You include the agency name, their phone number, then you would have met with them or even invite them for your drills. You understand? So it's safer. So you have a business continuity plan or emergency response plan, then you include for rescue operations like that, fall in a pit and things like that. You then say fire service, either state or federal. You have their number, you have met with them, and there's a synergy. That even makes your stakeholder list to be more robust, because now they see themselves as part of you. So even when there is fire, you still invite them to come and help with the firefighting. Okay.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your patience with me today. I think at the point I was like, oh, this network is not going to allow us to have a class again today. But luckily, we've been able to have a successful deliberation today. So thank you so much, and please do have a wonderful night rest. Thank you. We love you at Max-Migold. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
bye.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. So I'm looking forward to your invite on LinkedIn, so we can be friends.
Thank you.
So we can
Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
That's it.